Is it on?
Now it is.
Okay. Calling the meeting of the Business License Commission to order. We begin to acknowledge that the land on which we gather and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrieliano, Tongva, and Gabrieliano Kiz peoples. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Kat, would you like to lead?
Sure. Please rise. Let's put our hands over our heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to swear in our new member of the commission?
Come on up, sir. This is for you. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin Barry,
I, Kevin A. Barry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that while serving in the office
that while serving in the office
as a member of the Business License Commission
as a member of the Business License
of
Commission
the City of West Hollywood,
of the City of West Hollywood,
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and
to
allegiance
the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Commissioner Barry.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Welcome to the commission. Do you want to take your seat? Does he take his seat on the commission?
And then Kevin, why don't you come sign this little thing? And then you can go. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Take your seat. Have a good meeting.
Secretary Benitez, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, we want to make sure that Commissioner Barry signs in to the screen. Okay, Commissioner Barry?
Yes.
Present.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Cochran?
Here.
Commissioner Ng?
Here.
Commissioner Hang?
Here.
Commissioner Vulin?
Here.
Vice Chair Yusupov?
Here.
And Chair Eisenberg.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Okay. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
There are no changes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Motion approved by Commissioner Ng and seconded by Commissioner Hang. Could we get a roll call, please, Secretary?
Commissioner Barry?
Here.
Commissioner Cochran?
Here.
Our voting to approve.
It's aye. Aye. Aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Ng?
Yes.
Commissioner Hang?
Aye.
Commissioner Vulin?
Aye.
Vice Chair Yusupov?
Aye.
And Chair Eisenberg.
Aye.
And the item is approved.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the approval of the minutes of August 8th, 2023. Are there any changes to the minutes?
There are no changes.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion to approve by Vice Chair Yusperov and second by Commissioner Yulin. Thank you. Okay, now is the time for public comment, but we have an announcement from the city that we would like to read.
We have a roll call vote?
Oh, we didn't vote. Wait,
A roll call vote. for
approve the
approval.
minutes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Commissioner Barry?
Thank you.
Abstain.
Commissioner Cochran?
Aye.
Commissioner Ng?
Aye.
Commissioner Hang?
Aye.
Commissioner Vulin?
Aye.
Vice Chair Yusupov?
Aye.
And Chair Eisenberg.
Aye.
And the item is approved.
Okay. Now we go to item 7, public comment. Okay, I have something to read here. I want to inform the community that there's been an increase in attacks at many cities around the state, whereby public commenters have been calling into public comment lines at city council meetings and forcing communities to hear vile and hateful, racist and anti-Semitic public comment messages. I anticipate such comments may come through tonight based on the number of cities that have experienced these attacks. I want to tell the public and staff that while we may sometimes seem divided on some political issues, West Hollywood is united against hate. Staff has provided us signs that my colleagues, staff, and the public may use to express that we are united against hate. If you hear a comment that is hateful, you may hold up your sign, or you may leave the room or turn down your volume at home. You are not required to endure speech that offends decency and our core values. Please let the signs show that we are united against hate, and this type of speech does not reflect our values. While these disruptors may be taking advantage of the opportunity to speak to our community because we currently provide for telephonic comments, they will not break our spirit. We're united together against hate. If you did not register to speak via Zoom with city staff, you will not be admitted into Zoom to speak. The cutoff time was 2 p.m. today, and as posted of the commission, as indicated on the posted agenda. Okay, do we have any speakers at this time?
We have no speakers at this time.
Okay. We have no public hearing. And now we go to unfinished business, an update regarding the annual cannabis consumption area, Business License Commission, and cannabis delivery for The Woods, located at 8271 Santa Monica Boulevard. Is there a staff report?
Hi, good evening. Yes, there is. Good evening, Chaired, Vice Chaired, and Business License Commissioners. My name is Jessica Benitez, Code Enforcement Supervisor. Also, I'm joined by our Neighborhood and Business Safety Manager, Vito Adomaitis. As you know, The Woods has 3 cannabis business licenses in the adult retail cannabis consumption edibles and cannabis delivery service. On June 28th of 2021, the Business License Commission approved resolution number BLC 21-011, which imposed a condition that the first annual renewal should be reviewed by the Commission. As stated in the staff report, The Woods were issued the cannabis delivery business license in August of 2022 and the cannabis consumption lounge in October of 22, which is set to expire October 31st of 2023. If the Commission recalls, back in April of 2023, an update was provided to this Commission regarding the adult retail business license. At the time, the city had received 6 complaints regarding loud music and patrons smoking while parked at the adjacent parking lot. Code enforcement officers responded to each complaint and found no violations. Since we're doing the annual review for the cannabis consumption, we pulled the complaints from March 2023 to September 25th of 2023. Within that period, the city received 3 complaints, 2 separate complaints in May of 2023 and July of 2023 regarding cannabis odor being detected by an adjacent commercial establishment, and 1 regarding unpermitted signage and speakers mounted on the exterior of the building. When the officers responded to the location, they did not detect any odor at each separate incident. Also, records indicate that the business has a permit for the sign. The A-frame sign that was on the public right-of-way, it was immediately removed. And then, on the same day, the business removed the speakers that were mounted on the exterior of the building. Additionally, we contacted the Sheriff's Department to see if there were any calls for service. The West Hollywood Sheriff's Department reported no issues at the establishment. So based on this review, based on the review and the records from the Sheriff's Department, it is our belief that Woods is following the requirements pursuant to the Cannabis Code Ordinance and the conditions that were approved by this commission on both licenses. So with that, Code Enforcement will continue to monitor all cannabis establishments. This concludes my brief report, and we're available for any questions you may have.
Okay, are there any questions? Vice Chair Yusbaroff?
So in case of the business putting the speakers as they weren't allowed to, besides ordering them to remove those speakers, is there any kind of a reprimand or fine or the business incurs?
So the first is a warning notice that we issued to the business, and if they complied, then we close the case. If it doesn't, then we move forward with administrative citations. But as I've stated, they complied with the notice. the
And what
warning.
happens if they repeat the offense, say like a few months later, or?
If the violation is repeated within a 12-month period, then we issue an administrative citation. The fines range from $250 to $1,000.
So they automatically incur a fine without a hearing. They basically, if they're
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We'll follow the code enforcement methods that we have in place.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? Commissioner Barry?
Yeah, looking at this report, it's my understanding that roving security checks are supposed to be done on any cannabis business. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I will cover that on the following report when it comes to the status on the active business license. But yes, that is a requirement.
Okay, then I'll wait till that comes. Thank you.
Anybody else? No more questions? Thank you.
Chair, we actually have a public comment.
Oh, okay,
No? Okay, sorry, we do not.
okay. So we close this item.
Okay.
And now we go to an update on active cannabis establishments. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Jessica. And the item before you is an update on the active cannabis business establishments. In the staff report, it summarized what has unfolded since 2022. Currently, we have 10 storefront cannabis businesses in the city of West Hollywood. Today's report covers from March 28, 2023 to September 25th of 2023. Also, as you can see on page 24 of the business license packet, and I'm going to go ahead and pull my little packet here. The table reflects a total number of complaints and the disposition on the table on page 24. A total of 16 complaints were received regarding 6 different cannabis operators. The complaints concern signage, property maintenance, music, and outdoor speaker installations. The issues have been abated or in the process of being corrected. Overall, the businesses have been in compliance with the cannabis ordinance in respect to odor control, age verification, security requirement, and hours of operation. The Neighborhood and Business Safety Division will continue to respond, investigate, and monitor the cannabis business establishments. And this concludes my brief report, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Commissioner Ring?
Did you, I'm sorry, Jessica, you said 10 open businesses? I thought it was 9.
It is 10 storefronts.
Okay. And then, yeah, I'll have to go through that list in my head. I know at the council meeting on the 18th, Director Rivas mentioned the wait list, and I know council asked about the status, and he mentioned that there would be an update at the end of last month. So I'm curious if that's been complete and if we have an update on the wait list.
So that would be covered under the update to the cannabis business licenses. This is for the establishments that are currently operating. I recall one of the commissioners wanted to see how they were doing, if they were complying with the cannabis ordinance regarding the odor control, age verification, and security requirements regarding the roving of a security guard.
Okay. Also, I mean, I have some questions about some open businesses. I don't know if this is the right time, but I noticed LAPCG changed their name to 420 Market, and I was wondering if that indicated a change of ownership or was just a name change.
So that is something that we're working with the applicant. At this point, we'll bring an item forward, and then we'll provide more. We'll have more information regarding that.
Okay. Does that also cover? I know High Times on September 23rd entered into a partnership with Lucy Scientific. Does that affect the cafe, and is that an issue that we will be hearing?
I'm not aware of that, but there's something that we can take a look.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, do we have any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, so we will move on to new business. the cannabis business licenses status. Secretary? Staff report? Okay. Senior Court?
Beautiful. Hi, good evening again. This is Jessica and Vito Adamitis from the Neighborhood and Business Safety Division. So this item is regarding an update on the cannabis business license program and their status to become operational. On the screen, there it is. On the screen, we have a timeline since the inception of the cannabis program. November of 2017, City Council approved the cannabis ordinance and allows the 5 different categories within the cannabis business license, which is the adult use retail, medical dispensary, cannabis consumption edibles, cannabis consumption area, which is smoking, vaping, and edibles, and the cannabis delivery service. In May of 2018, the city opens the 30-day period submittal for screening applications. Eventually, the application evaluation committee reviewed and ranked over 300 applications. February 7th of 2019, all top scoring applicants were announced and they were allowed to move forward to obtain a business license approval. August 3rd of 2022, due to a settlement agreement, City Council amended the cannabis business license ordinance. Some of the amendments include creating the waitlist provision. It allows the next highest scoring applicant from the 2018 screening application process to apply for a license vacancy in each applicable license category. Allows the changes of ownership transfer provisions, which is the variance request. It established a deadline requiring businesses to become operational within 3 years of receiving approval from the Business License Commission. Also, it granted a smoking area within the cannabis consumption area lounges classified as edibles only. One of the things that the top scoring applicants that were announced back in February 7th of 2019 were announced on February 7th of 2019, and they had a deadline of February 7th of 2022 to obtain approval from the Business License Commission. Some of you recall there was one business that unfortunately forfeited the right to apply for the license. That applicant held 3 licenses in the adult retail, consumption area, and delivery service, which caused for these licenses to go to the next top scoring applicants from the 2018 screening applications process. These businesses were notified that they have the right to apply for each license within that respective category, and they had until August 8th of 2023 to apply. And unfortunately, those businesses did not apply for those licenses, and now it's going to the next top scoring candidates within their respective category. On June 6th of 2022, the city approved 2 6-month extensions to license holders that obtained the required approval before the Business License Commission between the years of 2019 and 2020. These licenses were approved prior to the negotiated agreement that established a deadline for businesses to become operational within the 3-year. So in other words, those that were approved in 2019 and in 2020, they got an additional year. Obviously, they needed to show proof that they are working and they're making significant progress to become operational. The next slide, as you can see here, it's a color-coded table. It reflects the status of the approved business licenses. Currently, we have 10 store businesses with a total of 22 licenses. The yellow section reflects 12 businesses that are working to secure or finalize their building permits, which is a total of 15 licenses. And then we have 3 pending businesses that have until August of 2025 to obtain a Business License Commission approval. This ends my quick update regarding the cannabis license program, and Vito and I were available for any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Eng?
I'm curious why the city continues calling 8 of the licenses edible only when that's no longer the case.
That is actually the license classification. The 50% from the settlement agreement, they were allowed to have what is called an ancillary smoking area. So to keep track who is an edibles only area, because they're limited with the smoking area that they can have.
Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Hang?
Thank you, Chair. I was just curious, with regard to the temporary cannabis events that was just approved in February of this year, anything going on for Halloween or maybe Pride of next year, you can update the commission.
Yes, so through our special event permits program, we are processing the very first application for Halloween. We're in the works, so as soon as we have more information, we'll be happy to share more. But yes, it will take place on October 31st during Halloween.
And is West Hollywood the first in the nation to do a cannabis event, to have permits for it?
That I do not know.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eng?
Just as to note, the organization's already promoting the event. They've already announced it, so.
As far as the businesses, yeah, we have the application, but it hasn't been finalized.
Okay, but they are announcing and promoting it and selling tickets already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Can I ask how you expect to inform us if we're not meeting before the 31st? You said we would have more information.
Oh, we
but
will, because it's a special event permit, we can send an email to say, this has been approved and finalized, definitely.
Okay. Is that it for everybody? Do we have public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay. Then we will move on to items from staff.
Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair and members of the Business License Commission. First off, I want to, from staff, congratulate our newest commissioner, Mr. Kevin Berry. So welcome and look forward to working with you as part of our commission. We have a great commission, I'd like to say. Just a few items for updates from staff. The first one, as we touched on earlier, staff is getting prepared for the Halloween Carnival event, which will be on a Tuesday, right, this year. So lots of efforts with our public safety partners, the sheriff, fire, all of our departments at the city that we work with on an annual basis for these events. So we want this event to be safe. And I've already heard from a number of people that we expect a healthy, large turnout this year. So we're really doing everything we can to ensure that this will be a safe event for all of our residents, as we saw with this year's Pride event as well. So looking forward to that. And code enforcement staff will be working Halloween. So you will see us out in the community, and I will likely see many of you as well. So looking forward to that. We also are processing through the Neighborhood and Business Safety Division the applications for special event permits. The cutoff, the deadline for applications is due by October 16th. That is the deadline. It gives staff enough time to gather all of the required materials and submittals to process these permits in time for the event on the 31st. We also set up that deadline to ensure that we don't get a flood of applications a couple days before the event, which would be unfortunate. So we will continue working with our community to ensure that those applications get in on time. There's no penalty for early submittal of any of these applications, so we encourage early submittal. I also wanted to share that the second week of October is Code Enforcement Officer Appreciation Week. So if you see your neighborhood code enforcement officer out and about in the community, please express your appreciation for them. I also want to thank our staff for doing a tremendous job in the daily work that they do in handling calls for service and in helping our residents deal with many quality of life issues. And so I'm very fortunate to work with a very dedicated group of staff. And our next meeting will be on Tuesday, November 14th. We anticipate a cannabis variance application coming to the commission. Staff will be reviewing that item and ensuring that it's ready to go and prepared appropriately for the commission's consideration on the 14th. We also had an update with regard to appeals, so I'm going to have Ms. Benitez respond as well.
So last meeting, there was a question regarding how many appeals have we had in the past five years. We pulled the data, and records indicate that we've had one appeal back in December of 2022 from a massage parlor. So that was the one appeal within the five-year period.
I think the question was more general, all appeals also to council and planning.
We only pull the appeals to the Business License Commission.
Could your next report include the other ones? Because I realize there aren't that many appeals to this commission, but there are, I believe, quite a few to for planning.
Is there a specific item that you are inquiring about, what appeals specifically to?
Not a specific appeal. We're just trying to get a general idea of how frequently people appeal decisions. And from planning, it usually goes to council, and we just wanted to know if any appeals were successful.
Understood. Okay.
Staff will research that item and provide that requested information at the commission at the next meeting in November or sooner if we're able to pull it all together for you.
The meeting is fine. Thank you.
Okay, sure. That concludes my updates from staff, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Any questions? We're not a very questionable commission tonight. Okay, now's the time for public comment. Do we have any speakers at this time?
I know we have one person on Zoom. I'm not sure if they would like to make a comment. We do not have any public speakers present.
So if you'd like to speak, please unmute yourself. One.
Eric?
We don't have any public speakers.
No?
We have none.
Okay. So items from commissioners. Do we have any items from commissioners? Commissioner Cochran.
Since this is our last meeting before the Code Enforcement Appreciation Week, I'll just say thank you to our code enforcement officers.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Ng?
First off, I want to say congratulations to Commissioner Berry. Welcome. And also thank you to Code Enforcement. I'm curious, do you, Vito or Manager Adamitis, I had an incident in which I called code and an officer came out. It was, I believe, Officer Torres. Is he in my neighborhood? Is that who I need to thank?
He is one of our officers, and he covers the entire city.
Okay. All right, and then I'm just going to make mention of some bills that are before the governor at this time pertaining to cannabis. SB 58 would allow small amounts of psilocybin, DMT, and mescaline to be possessed by an individual. SB 700 would prevent employers from asking applicants about prior cannabis use. AB 374, which I know that staff has discussed with council, will allow dispensaries to carry non-infused food and drink items with local support. And I think that means that if the state approves it, it still has to have local approval, which we all hope for businesses will pass. And then, oh yeah, well, I'm going to mention AB 1207, which I don't think anybody here will care about, but essentially it affects labeling of cannabis products. And if anybody here is old enough to remember Joe Camel, they outlawed that because it was appealing to children. And it's the same with what they're trying to do with cannabis labeling. I think one of the bad things about it is that they want to remove using real people on products, which means if you're Snoop Dogg or Willie Nelson, your face cannot be on your label. I don't agree with that. And otherwise, yeah, I think that's it for cannabis in California at the moment.
Thank you. Anyone else? Vice Chair Yusperov.
I'd like to thank code enforcement and staff in general, and make it a year of thanking them, not just a month. And I'd like to also congratulate Commissioner Berry. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hang.
Thank you, Chair. I'd also like to welcome Commissioner Berry to our commission. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that October is Disabilities Awareness Month. The City of West Hollywood and its Disabilities Advisory Board, led by Chair Yola Doré, will recognize October as Disabilities Awareness Month. This year marks the 33rd anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA is a landmark civil rights legislation that works to increase access and opportunity for people with disabilities across society, including in the workplace. On Tuesday, October 17, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., there will be a community health and wellness fair at Plummer Park that is put on by the city and sponsored by the DAB. And on Wednesday, October 18, 2023, there will be the Disability Service Awards in this very chamber, where council and the DAB will be honoring specific awardees for their activism and involvement in the disabled community. And lastly, I had the honor of attending the LA BizFed Freshman Policymakers Reception a couple of weeks ago, and our very own council member Chelsea Byers was one of the many honorees. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yulin?
Good evening. I also wanted to welcome Commissioner Berry. Welcome to our Business License Commission. I think you're going to fit in just fine. And I had one question for next Wednesday. I have that there's a code of conduct for all commissioners to attend. That's still going on, required? I saw an email a while back, but I just wanted to clarify and remind everyone if that's something we're doing.
I'm happy to check with the city clerk's office and confirm that. This is for all commissioners?
Yeah, on the 11th at 6 p.m.
I see that on the calendar. So this is Save the Date Code of Conduct Training for elected and appointed officials. The city attorney and the city clerk will be conducting the training. It will be here in the council chambers starting at 6 p.m. If you have not, I believe, is this for people who have not received the training or just in general, everybody?
I think it's for people who haven't received the training.
The email sounded like to everyone, but maybe if you could clarify and just let us know, yeah.
We're happy to confirm with the city clerk's office. Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to thank everyone for their warm welcome, and I look forward to working with you all.
Okay. And I would also like to welcome Commissioner Barry to our commission, and we know he'll be an invaluable asset to us as everyone else is. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to adjourn. Does anyone have an adjournment motion? I do. I'd like to adjourn in memory of our esteemed Senator Dianne Feinstein. Oh, sorry.
I'd like to make an adjournment motion in memory of Josh Kruger. He was a journalist in Philadelphia who was brutally shot 7 times on Monday, and a friend of mine.
Oh,
so,
goodness. Our condolences.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, then we will adjourn the meeting.
Multiple different parties throughout the city, and people coming out, know their neighbors, having law enforcement and fire and all the people that work at the city and electeds have an opportunity to interact and get to know each other better and really kind of work on this community as a community. So it's a really great, fun time, and we really enjoy it every year.